and gentlemen. Welcome back to NJPW-World Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here. My pointing is terrible today. Right over here, it's the workout princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. I just had some of my pre-workout. It's starting to kick in. My bun is as disheveled as my life today. We'll probably be out by the end of the show.
Ooh.
I'm ready for the gym.
I was gonna say, ooh, it's
We're ready to talk some wrestling. How are you doing?
I am doing phenomenal. Got up this morning, finished watching the show we were about to talk about, and I'm going to do some yard work, and then I'm going to watch some more Stardom, then I'm going to go hang out with you in real life.
Yay!
With some of our friends. So
the Melball week.
I am excited because I get to see some of my friends, eat some food. Watch them. I get to watch some wrestling this afternoon, and I think we got a private area at where we're at, and we're going to be watching some wrestling as we eat. I think.
Are we really? This is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I'm excited.
Possibly. So we're going to be doing that. But I want to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen. There's my fingers for joining us here on NJPW-World Review. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below because we want to hear from you because we love talking wrestling with all of you. And then the next show we will be dropping will be Stardom Review tomorrow. We'll be dropping that one there Saturday, sometime on Saturday. I don't know when because I've got to get all this shit up. But we are here to talk some NJPW. Oh, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video like the Stardom Review we're going to be dropping tomorrow.
Ding dong.
Hello. So we're here to talk about night number 12, the final 8 tournament match night of this show. So they're doing 8 matches every show, and now they're going to they're still doing 8 matches on the next 4 shows, but only 4 of them are tournament matches. So just to let you know, we're going to let you know the results of those matches, but we're not going to be going heavy through those matches. We're just going to give you a quick little here. That's it on those matches.
Thoughts.
Just quick overall thoughts because they're not totally needed to cover,
Yeah. Relevant to storyline stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk G1 Climax 33, the Tropical Edition. We're gonna start it off night number 12. So every match in this show had serious implications to where people are going into the final night to get themselves in the final. I have done some math. It's not perfect because I haven't figured out what people with draws and 1-pointers is going to do here. I'm literally just calculating wins and losses. If I'm not calculating any draws for final night, except for one thing. But yeah, we started out YOSHI-HASHI versus Alex Coughlin. Angry Alex is not so angry today. Very calm for angry Alex. Like somebody finally gave him some just made him take
Valium,
or maybe he ate a Snickers. I don't know.
Snickers protein ones, hopefully, with the extra protein in there for all the muscles. Goddamn.
Alex, as Tana's coming up the steps, him just standing there staring him down was it's just twice on this in these cards that I've seen beautiful shots like that because you had the one with Ospreay and it was shot behind Ospreay.
Yes.
Look at him staring at Khan, and then this one of Coughlin staring down at Tanahashi like I'm gonna wreck you.
Don't forget Okada creeping up on Ospreay to attach that money clip. Yeah, very, very great production crew from NJPW this round.
They got to teach that American crew. Or, just have Impact run their production side. Because Impact's got really great production.
Strong do better.
That's what I mean. Have Impact just run Strong's production. Because they
absolutely
do a good job.
Why not?
A multiverse show went off without a hitch. And then literally the next Strong show had problems. So it is a New Japan Strong problem.
Agreed.
Angry Alex with the power, or not so angry Alex with the power advantage early. Tana goes to work on the knee, but literally Coughlin grabs a claw to the face to break the knee hold. I love that.
That was cool.
Especially with that movie coming out in December, The Claw. I'm excited. The Von Erich movie about the Von Erich.
Oh, okay. I was like, is there a horror movie about a claw that I was not aware of?
No, it's a wrestling movie starring Zac Efron.
Yes, I am aware. I'm aware. I
Um,
just didn't know
Al-
that's what it was called.
Colgan with the hard chops, and he chops Tana over the top rope to the floor. So on the floor, he runs Tana into the barricade. Then he takes Oscar Loibe, and you can hear Kevin Kelly going, "Who am I supposed to talk to?" as he slams Oscar onto Tana. He's just like, "No," because he lost his guy. Um,
Mm,
Coughlin back in the ring turns a sling blade into a backbreaker and a backdrop slutplex. I like the counter there.
mm.
The power of this guy just to be able to catch Shauna with ease like that was
Oh,
just
yeah.
great. Tana does hit the sling blade. Then he hits a reverse sling blade where he drives the
Mhm.
face into the mat, which I was like, ooh,
Yes.
I haven't seen him do that before. Probably has.
No.
I just probably haven't noticed.
He
Um,
has been doing that kind of throughout this tournament, coming out with a couple different kinds of dragon screw leg whips, different sling blades. This was a new sling blade though, and
yeah,
that was really cool.
I really liked it. And he goes up, but Alex catches him on the aces high and hits that
Yeah,
fall away slam bridge. Like he literally catches him right back into the bridge.
yeah.
There was no hesitation in it. It looked great. Gets that bridge for two. Then he hits a Death Valley bomb for two. Then he hits a very hard lariat and a lariat to the back of the neck. So Cogley goes for the suplex. Tana tries to cradle him into a pin, but Alex lifts him back up, jackhammers the shit out of him, and Alex Coughlin pins the legend.
Yeah. Um, yeah. If
And
I started to tell you about this a little bit yesterday, this was not a great match for me. I like there
it
was
was
a
fine. It was fine.
yeah, but for me personally, this like performance wise, they're both solid. Like Coughlin, he's fairly new into NJPW, but he's the strong champion for a reason. They took a chance on him because he's good. He's got a
Mhm.
lot of talent, and he's so strong. Like the power that he just possesses is just insane. But in this match against Tanahashi, I don't know if it was just that he was facing Tanahashi and he was scared shitless or what, but there was a lot of things that I felt when he was going for strikes, for example. There were some strikes that I could tell he was pulling
Mm.
on the strikes. And that's not what you want to see with Tanahashi because Tanahashi is not going to pull on you. He's going to just backhand you in the face without a care and split your lip like he godoed last year, right?
Mm.
Um, but otherwise, I felt that everything was really, really solid. There was just a few things that I noticed Coughlin specifically. And I don't know if it's because we've mentioned some of these guys like to wrestle these vets, and the vets love to wrestle, but some of them like try to protect the vets a little bit. And like someone I use a lot for a great example of that is Chase Owens.
Mm.
I've watched Chase Owens wrestle Tomoaki Hamna a hot minute over the last couple of years, and every time I see Hamna go up into that package pile driver from Chase, I don't panic because I know that Chase is an experienced enough wrestler. He's a good enough wrestler, but he also cares enough about himself and his opponents that despite that package pile driver looking absolutely brutal, he's doing it in the safest way possible to protect Hamna while still making it look good.
Mm.
And I think the right now that Coughlin's new enough to the business that he's just not got that experience quite yet. And that's I think why I had sort of an issue with this match. Overall, I thought it was a really, really good match. But afterwards, I don't know. I felt like when Tana and him were leaving, there were just things about them that were not usual. Like Tana will usually kind of like play things up and really be like, dang, I lost. That sucked. Tana didn't do that. He just straight out got out of the ring and walked to the back. Coughlin, we've been seeing this tournament. He goes ape shit when he wins. He's spinning his belt around like a lunatic, yelling at the camera, being the angry, angry Alex that we're kind of used to seeing. He also didn't do that at the end of the match. He just kind of, okay, got out of the ring, grabbed his belt, and he hustled. He hustled up that ramp to get out of there. And I'm like, I kind of felt that there might have been something that kind of went wrong that they might have not been happy with or something. I don't know. Overall, it was an okay opener for me. It wasn't something I'm going to write home about, but it also wasn't the worst thing that I've seen on this tournament.
Yeah, again, I enjoyed the opener. I was like, when you mentioned it to me yesterday and I watched this, I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with this? I don't know what her problem was.
You know, maybe it's
I
just that I
enjoyed
was
it.
focused too much on the little negative parts of it that I wasn't focusing on the positive parts of it. But like, it did bother me a little bit that there was something missing. It felt lackluster
The
in
only negative,
comparison to what I knew they could do.
the only negative I focus on is one in the next match, and that's
Oh,
Evil.
sweet Jesus.
Um, as much as I love the ending of this,
Hmm.
goddamn, did this match suck? Um, it was just lots of bullshit from House of Torture. They're attacking during the entrance, and Togo attacks the Sweet Boy. Like, leave the Sweet Boy alone.
Yeah, that was not okay. But hey, Fujita, he did freaking great
Yes.
protecting Mikey Nichols in this match.
So I'm gonna just hop right to the end here because
Hmm.
this match happened to be a match. Yeah. Uh, Evo whips Nichols into the ref. Togo takes out Fujita. So they double team Nichols. Togo comes off the second rope, hitting Nichols in the crotch with like a fish drop.
Yeah.
So they set up to do Magic Killer, and this is where Fujita really earns his Young Lion pay. He
Yes.
comes in, takes out Togo, and taking out Togo so they can't hit Magic Killer, and
Hmm.
then uh, Evil goes for everything is evil. Nichols reverses into the Euro clutch, and he gets the win. And Nichols then takes Evil and hucks him out of the ring after the match.
Hmm.
Take out that garbage,
Because
my
F
friend.
you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's everything I have to say on the match.
I mean, that's everything that needs to be said. The only good thing about this was the finish. I really didn't enjoy anything about this match. Nichols did his best. And like I've kind of not been feeling Nichols on this tour mainly because of the headbutts. That's just been bothering me. They didn't bother me in this one.
No.
They didn't bother me. At this point I'm like smash his face in. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Heck that mug of evils. He's got a mouth guard. He'll still have his teeth. Yeah, the finish was the best part. This was a thing. It happened.
And
Blech.
then I was kind of unhappy with this one too. Not just for the fact that I lost 2 points, but I didn't need it to be this fucking goofy. I really just like I didn't hate it as much as I hate Evil. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
So
though,
Yano's
were
were
we really expecting anything less, though, out of hysterical Shane Haste?
no, but
Yano.
the shit. So Toriano comes out with a bag on his head, and as soon as I saw him wearing the bag, I'm like, that's going on Haste's head. I knew it. But then they trade the hats in the bag, and then Haste puts it on his head like a hat. Then Yano comes and pulls it down, and they do some bullshit.
Hmm.
Um, they end up on the floor. Haste blocks the cold spray, gets the cold spray, but Yano runs away, so he sprays it at Fujita a little bit, and Fujita's like, no, like Fujita's like, no. So and then Yano goes under the ring, so Fujita sends him under the ring to follow him, or Haste sends Fujita under the ring to follow him. So then Haste said, I'm gonna go too. So 30 seconds later, out comes Yano. He hops back in the ring. Rest counting. Out comes Fujita. Then out comes Shane Haste wearing a bucket. Like the bag was one thing. I could have dealt with the bag. The bag, if it was just the bag, I would have fine. But it was a goddamn bucket. Like they would have just played up the bag more. Like if Yano had taken the bag under with him and put the bag on his head under the ring, he was trying to find his way out. I think I wouldn't. I don't think I would have hated this much. But the goddamn why was there a goddamn bucket under that goddamn ring?
I mean, at this point, why do we ask questions with Yano?
Yeah, so Ace tries to slam somebody and it's a ref, but he stops because Fujita's yelling at him. But he somehow can stop a low blow without being able to see. And he hits
He
a
also
lariat.
almost yeeted the ref.
That's what I'm saying. He almost like slammed her through the ref or something, but Fujita
Poor
Fujita's yelling.
Cantasato.
Yeah, Fujita had to yell to stop him, right? But Haste gets the bucket off the head, but he hit with the low blow and the spear to the butt, and Yano gets the win. Again, I'm not that finish. I'm disappointed that Haste didn't win because I'm a big Haste fan, but I can take Yano winning. but it's the bucket. It's the fucking bucket. If you would have just played up the bag more, I would think I would have been okay with it. But it was the fucking bucket. Like why a bucket? Couldn't you just played up the bag more?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because like Hayes has had some pretty impressive wins. Like he may have not picked up that win against Zack Sabre Jr., but like he picked up a win over Tetsuya Naito, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
I agree.
This was. I agree. The bucket was not okay. I found like I always find Shane Haste's comedy very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've had high hopes for this one, and this was a fun ride. I laughed a lot, but I agree the bucket was ridiculous. Didn't make a sense to me. The tape with the bag would have made more sense.
Yes, like using the bag would have made this so much better in more than just a little spot at the start and then he tossed it off.
It was an attempt, I think, because like I feel like this was one of the first couple times that like I've seen these two actually have a match together.
Tag league last year, but that would have been
I don't recall seeing them in like a one-on-one kind of thing though. So for what it was funny, but it really was not a serious match in any respect of the word. That being said, I feel that it was appropriately placed in the show. If it was any sooner, I think it would have really missed its mark. But if it was any later, based on how the rest of the show went, it would have missed its mark even more. So I feel like it was probably placed in the right spot because then we could kind of forget about it.
Very true. So we move on to the next match of the evening. It's Tomohiro Ishii versus Hanare.
I just want to quickly say before you get into this that I really appreciate how NJPW is doing different cards with different pictures for every person, seemingly based on how their like kind of feud or history is kind of based. Because Hanare's picture has been like you've mentioned the the hood and everything and kind of blended in nice, and now it's kind of like this. I really like this.
Cool, because the first few nights it was his old standard Aaron.
Yeah, with the mustache and everything.
And then it kicked over to the hooded one where the
and now look at that.
And this one just makes him look like a fucking beast. Especially this picture works so well, especially with Tomohiro Ishii as the other person because to have this guy looking like a beast ready to face off against Ishii is absolutely
So NJPW production on the G1. Whew.
Yeah,
good job, you guys.
This match is the two dudes beating the shit out of each other.
Yes.
Like the body blows from Hanare, the chops and the strikes from Ishii. Again, and then the headbutts from Hanare. I didn't mind as much in this one, but again, I still don't like them.
Yeah, we're starting to get used to, I think, Hanare kind of having the headbutt because Ishii always has had the headbutt, but he's also so short he can't really.
But he always headbutts the sternum though.
Yeah, and Hanare I think is learning very well from him in the same way.
He needs to get away from the head on head because that's just not safe. Ishii catching the kick at one point and then hyperextending the knee. I really did like that. Hanare getting the body blows and the berserker bomb for 2. That beautiful pop-up Samoan by Hanare. I will shout that out every time. So smooth. Hanare misses a spin kick. Ishii hits a headbutt. But Hanare hits a big shot and the rampage for 2. He gets the Ultima, but then turns it into a Uranagi and gets 2. Hanare hits the rising knee strike in the corner. The snapmare and the PK, but Ishii reverses Streets of Rage with this huge sick lariat. The brainbuster gets reversed twice. At the end, Hanare unloads heavy strikes, hits Streets of Rage for the win, and his first ever singles win over Tomohiro Ishii.
Yes. What was it? 5 years in the making, he said?
Something like that. He made his first win over Ishii count.
Yes. This match was so good. This was literally these two just trying to knock each other out. It felt, and they were going for broke. Like Ishii always hits hard, But like I felt like Ishii really ramped up for this one, which I think really helped Hanare ramp up even more in this one. Dude, was so good. So good. This was one of those big meaty men slapping meat, and I lived for it because it wasn't just them striking each other. Both Ishii and Hanare are actually very accomplished power wrestlers, so they were just power flexing on each other this entire match. Hanare, I never really took for like a very technical guy, so the reversals were a very pleasant surprise for me because he's usually not utilizing those as much. He usually just kind of beefs his way through a lot of stuff. So it was really nice to kind of see a little bit more of a technical background for Hanare in this match to pick up that win. Very well deserved win, and good for him. I'm very happy for this.
Just beefing his way through, you know.
Beefing.
He be beefing.
Tell your boy. Do you remember that line from 303? Tell your boyfriend if he says he's got beef that I'm a vegetarian and I ain't fucking scared of him.
Oh, I know that song well. I love that song.
Oh, so good.
We move on. Next match, TV. It's Haruki Goto versus Jeff Cobb. Power face off at the start. Yeah. Cobb gaining the advantage. But Goto using that cunning and experience to like dodge out of the way and get into kicks and starts working the inner, like kicks the inner thigh. And usually when you say inner thigh shot, it's a nut shot. This is an actual he actually hit an inner thigh shot, like kicked him in the inner thigh.
Yeah, that's so weird.
And then he starts working the knee. Cobb gets Goto on the floor, runs him into the barricade, messing up his ribs more, and he steps on him, just right on the ribs.
Just like didn't see you there, bud.
Cobb catches a wheel kick, and it's a running power bomb. Cobb misses the moonsault, and Goto takes over, hits a lariat and the wheel kick in the corner, gets a backdrop for 2. Hard forearms by Goto. He goes for the bulldog. Cobb stops and hits spin cycle. I was like, yes, that was such a good.
It was so smooth.
Good reversal and
such a smooth transition for him too.
Well, he goes for spin cycle, but then Goto slips around and gets that rear naked choke on. I'm like,
yes.
Oh, that
so
got
good.
even better. So he goes for the PK, but it's caught, and then Cobb hits a drop kick, and this is where he actually hits spin cycle for 2. Then he gets a standing moonsault for 2. Cobb slips the Ushi-Garshi, as I wrote. It meant Ushi-Garoshi. Ushi-Garshi, and hits a super kick. But
it's Goto dodges.
Yeah, Cobb slips out of Ushi-Garoshi, hits the super kick. Goto dodges a lariat and hits it, but does hit the Ushi-Garoshi. Cobb's suplex is turned into the rear naked choke. Goto hits some headbutts and then gets out of the tour of the islands. And Goto hits the code Goto, with the code red to all of you. I'm going to call it the code Goto, and hits the GTR. Goto pins Jeff Cobb to stay alive in this tournament. Yeah,
we're having another Kenta in this tournament. I mean, Jeff Cobb dominant, and then he meets Yano, and it's just like he swan dived off a cliff. We can't have that, Mr. Cobb. We need you at the top. This one surprised me, just because of I know they had like a number of days to rest up after their last kind of bouts. And Goto, with that rib injury pretty early on, has desperately needed that rest. And I feel like you could tell that rest did very, very good for him in this match. He was still hurting, but he wasn't hurting in the same way that he was in his last match with, I think it was Coughlin. Was it Coughlin?
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like it was his match against Coughlin. He was hurting. Like he could barely stand, and yeah, it was not good. This one, Goto was fighting back, and he was fighting back so good. Very, very strong, very defiant against the wall that was Jeff Cobb. Cobb did his absolute best. I don't feel that he's slipping after that loss to Yano. I feel like this was kind of a once-off, but I don't like it. I definitely thought that given Cobb was standing in this one, given, his lack of injury, his, just how dominant he has been. I felt that Cobb was going to take this win. I'm not mad that Goto won, though, because Goto, again, personal favorite of mine. I've loved him since I started watching this company. But I did definitely think that the ribs was going to be an issue in this one. I'm very happily surprised that it was not.
Yeah. I thought, again, Goto can, I think, work with pretty much anybody. There's no contest. This guy is a chameleon in his ability to just work with any professional wrestler out there
100%.
and get a good match. And I'm not surprised it was a good match. These two, it's two amazing professional wrestlers killing it in the ring together.
Oh, no, I'm not surprised that it was a good match. I'm surprised that Goto won it, though.
Yeah,
based on the rib.
That was my surprise. I thought Cobb would be kind of assured his place in the 100%. Finals before the final night. Well, I'll get into that.
He deserves it.
I'll get into it at the end here about who Eddie Kingston versus Tama Tonga. Not that I'm not saying I didn't dislike this match, but I look at this match the same way I looked at the Coughlin match. I think it was Coughlin, right? Yeah,
when at the beginning there.
When he faced him 2 nights ago in the Coughlin match.
Oh.
I look at it the same way as Eddie Kingston's match with Coughlin. I think it was Coughlin. No. No. Who the flip did he wrestle on the last show? We were saying it was the very American. Oh, Nichols.
Right.
The very American style.
Yes, 100%. Very much so.
Nichols is in the D block. Where am I? Who the? Nichols is C block. Yeah. So Nichols.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
It was very much that. I don't know. He's been having this kind of magic with a lot of the Japanese guys. And not to say this was bad. This was still a really good match. I thought these two did really good. But it wasn't one of his upper echelon matches of the tournament. And for Tama, it kind of was one of his lower end ones. Because Tama's been putting on stellar performances. And this was a good. It's not like this was bad. This was a good match. I found it was Tama Tonga really playing to a brawler style, which is not what Tama Tonga does. And I think that was actually the detriment to this match of him trying to match Eddie. He should have still been doing his moves, doing everything the way he does it, and let Eddie fight around him. Is the way this match should have went. But again, that's personal opinion. Eddie with the chops early, Tama coming back with the forearms. They're just beating the crap out of each other early. Eddie gets a butterfly suplex for 2. Tama, those vicious back elbows in the corner. Those are good. Yeah. Beautiful neck breaker off the second rope by Tama. Hits the SRC, but misses Supreme Flow. And Eddie gets a sliding lariat for 2. Strikes by Tama. And the headbutts by Eddie. Then Eddie unloads the chops, but Tama gets the exploder. Then Eddie gets 2 exploders, but Tama reverses a back fist into a Tongan twist. Again, the last few minutes of the match is where these two really make magic in this match. When they finally got into Tama kind of getting away from being a striker and getting into what he regularly does.
Yes.
Yeah. Half and half by Eddie and the spinning back fist, but he can only get 2. Eddie ends up reversing the gun stun into the back fist and then hits the Northern Lights bomb and gets the win. I really, as much as I've been enjoying Eddie Kingston, and I was like, damn, this guy get the win. I thought this was Tama Tonga's.
I did also, and I personally think that it should have been. I get that they're building up Kingston. I get that Kingston is an NJPW strong champion, and that's tremendous for him. But we're talking about Tama Tonga, who didn't he just get a win over David Finlay?
Yeah, but Kim, with this loss, it doesn't eliminate Tama Tonga, and Eddie stays in it with the win. Because if Eddie would have lost, he would have been he would have been 2 points behind the leader, but he wouldn't have been able to get the win proper. He wouldn't be able to get in.
I'm not talking about the points. I don't talk about math. Come on. I'm talking about who deserves the win based on who's beaten who.
Oh, yeah.
Tama Tonga has beaten the never openweight champion. And in my personal opinion, if I look at the strong brand and I look at the NJPW brand is the WWE to the NXT, kind of thing. So I outrank NJPW titles over the strong titles. So to me, I look at this as like, if Tama just beat David Finlay and he's wanting to go after that never open title, but he just got beaten by Eddie Kingston, that's a problem to me. It kind of brings away, not credibility, but it brings away a little bit of momentum for me from Tama Tonga. Getting into this match, though, I do agree it was kind of a very similar, underwhelming kind of feeling that you had. It was a very North American feeling match. Um, but for me, it was actually a North American style match that I've actually enjoyed. Which is not something that I've been able to say. You can attest to that over the last little while. But what I did enjoy about this match is even though it was something that Tama Tonga doesn't typically do, it did force him to be a little bit more catering to the crowd. So Tama was a little bit more animated in this one than I think that we've seen him in specifically the last year since being kicked out of Bullet Club, where he's just been like, eyes to the ground, eyes on the prize, I'm wrestling, I'm doing this. Whereas like at the beginning there when they started doing the chops and Tama was like, okay, and he like turned around, started playing to the crowd, took his shirt off because the girls are going to get excited when he takes his shirt off, and they did. Wasn't just me, it's the crowd too, guys. Just chill. But the over animation, the playing that he was doing was something that we haven't seen in a hot minute from Tama, and I was really excited to see that again. The other spot that I wanted to mention that I thought was funny was done by Eddie Kingston when Tama was coming in to do that big, like jumping, I don't know what it is, like just a crossbody thing in the corner. And Joe or freaking Eddie just Samoa Joe'd him and just walked out of the corner and let him just take the turnbuckle. I had a good cackle at that. I enjoyed that. But yeah, for as you said, a North American match, I actually thought this was fairly solid. It wasn't the most entertaining or like match I'm gonna write home about again, but for this kind of style of match, which I've been hating on for like probably almost a decade, it was actually really solid for me.
I agree.
Mm.
I agree. Again, a really solid match, just not one of Eddie's stellar matches so far in this tournament. For what Tama has been doing, not one of his high points in this one. Again,
I agree.
Still quite good, just not either's best in this tournament.
100%.
Semi-main event of the evening, the match that I thought should have main event of this show, Tetsuya Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, the main event I was not really into.
Interesting. It's interesting how our differences on this show.
I don't know. That main event was just, I don't know.
We'll get to it.
Didn't capture me. Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr. Sabre sends Naito out at the beginning. He runs the rope, does this like slow roll into a mocking pose, mocking Naito's pose. And so Naito's back in. After a great series of reversals, Naito hits to Harris, sending Sabre out of the ring. And Naito does his pose. Sabre chases Naito out of the ring at one point, but Naito runs him into the barricade. Neck breakers him on the barricade. Neck breakers him on the floor. And then he gets him back in the ring, gets the cravat, but Sabre does get the ropes quickly there. It was very technical, both these guys in this match. And I thought they did a great job of really working, Naito really working to that technical style of Sabre's. I thought I really, really enjoyed this. I'm just wondering in my brain, what would an Eddie Kingston versus Zack Sabre Jr. match look like? That's all I wonder now. Like, I really wonder what that match would look like.
There would be a lot of vulgarity, I would say, coming from both of these men because they would just it would be a loud match for sure. It probably allowed because Kingston would be getting pissed off and just swearing at Zack Sabre Jr. being tied up all the time.
No, that's what went through my brain. I'm like, I wonder what a match from these two would look like. Because again, it was just the melding of styles, trying to Saber be technical around Eddie's brawler style. Like, just imagine what that would be. But back to the match.
Yeah. Focus, guys.
Saber working on the arm of Naito. He misses the overhead kick, and Naito gets a beautiful neck breaker for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Naito gets combinacion spit. Cabron.
I hate that. I hate that he's doing that now. I know that it's like, it's a shock and awe moment, but it's like, come on. We can do shock and awe with something else.
The
Stop
last match,
I
was a little bothered by the spit, but this one not as much, because if you think about the history, Saber literally took him out of the tournament 2 years ago. And Naito getting that really quick win over Saber last year. I think it was last year he got that really quick win on Saber.
Wasn't it? What was the year where he messed up his knee?
That was 2 years. That was 2020.
Right.
And then last year Naito got the super quick win on Saber. So,
right.
So there's a history there of these two really hating each other. So the spitting, well, I still don't like it. It made sense in this match. It did work. I don't like it. You don't need to spit in professional wrestling unless you're coughing up blood and you need to spit out of the ring, which I've seen.
At which point you should stop the match. If you're coughing up blood.
Well, or no, blood. I guess not blood, but like phlegm or something gross, or need to puke. At
that point, you should also stop.
Oh no, I've seen
that be a local problem.
I've seen a guy slide out of a ring, slide under a ring, puke, slide back out, slide in, hit his finisher, win the match, and leave.
I feel like I know who that is.
I don't think you do.
Good Lord. Moving back to the match.
The tornado DDT is reversed into an overhead kick, but Naito gets a spine buster. Naito gets reversed on the front flip cutter into submission, and Saber switching positions in the submissions until Naito eventually does get to the ropes. They're trading pins, but Naito gets the Destino out of the Zack driver. But as Naito goes for Destino again, Saber gets the Zack driver out of the Destino. Hop off the second rope tornado DDT by Saber, or off the second rope corner rope by Saber, but Naito turns it into the Naito driver, which is a brainbuster. And then Naito hits a tornado DDT into an inside cradle and gets the win. I was so confused by the end of this.
Yeah. When he hit that inside cradle, I was like, who's pinned right now? I had to do a double take to kind of look at it, and then Naito's music started playing. I was like, no heckin' way. What the fizzity-uck just happened? That neck breaker, though, on the barricade that Naito did at the beginning of that match, that was just cruel and unusual punishment. There was no reason for that.
That's the second time he's done it.
So yucky.
I think he did. I think he did the haste, actually.
And maybe it's just a TMDK thing. Maybe that's what we need to call it.
Yeah.
The TMD neckbreaker. That thing is cruel, though. Just the way he brings you down on your shoulders on that barricade. Just no, thank you.
Okay, I'm so confused right now. You said the TMD neckbreaker, so the Mighty Don't neckbreaker.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, it would make sense considering what the move is.
I would have called it just the TM neckbreaker, the Mighty neckbreaker. I don't know.
No, we have to, play a little bit more. More letters, sir. More letters.
Okay.
Moving on. The next note I had was again in agreement with the combination de spit. I'm not a fan of it. I just don't like spit. Don't spit on people unless the situation calls for it. The only other thing that I said about this one is that I also admittedly thought that Zack Sabre Jr. was going to take this match. So
I hoped so.
Yeah. That being said, his Naito just earned himself a shot at that TV title. And also, Melball is terrible at picking men. Just in general, the SNME radio predictions thing that we have going on. I think I've been in last for the last
couple
3
shows.
Times that they've posted results.
Well, just remember, Boris is you're only in last because Boris had such a crazy resurgence. But he was in last for almost the entire thing after the first, except for the first
Yeah, I
fight.
was sitting
So,
mid card though. I was pretty happy with that, but now I'm dead last and it
but you're,
sucks.
but
And
you're,
then on top of that, I'm doing the NJPW collection game where you pick all of the people winning the matches. Let me tell you, I'm doing horrible at that too. Like, man,
you're only
Melville
8
sure
points
does
back.
not know how to pick them. Do not trust me on this shit.
You're only 8 points back of Matt in first, and you're only like 4 points behind me in third. So, or,
Looking at what we have left, though, I don't have a whole ton of hope.
yeah, because I don't know if you're getting. Are you going to get anybody in? Or you're going to get Kaito?
Probably not.
You're going to get Kaito into the quarters. That's about as I think that's the
That's
only
as
person.
good as it's gonna get for a Melball.
Yeah, like I have a shot. Like I've got Sonata going into the quarters, so I'm okay there. And I might get Saber. I don't know, but at least I got
This is what I
somebody.
get for putting my frickin' money on Kenta again.
And Suji.
Lil Kenta, sir.
Kenta,
I'm gonna
Kenta,
need you to stop being a little bitch and start freaking kicking shit over here. I get that you're the Defy champion, but like, could we please?
Kenta ruined you.
Yeah, he really did. It's been a 3-year ruining now, sir.
Yeah.
3 years I've put faith in this man. I'm disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on from my disappointment
Well, that match wasn't
into your disappointment.
Well, it wasn't a disappointment. It was still a good match. I didn't get into it as much as the match before it, and even I got into Tama and Eddie more than this one. It wasn't until the last like few minutes that I really got into this match. Early, it was just them beating up on each other, and I found Finley I felt like Finley shouldn't have got the advantages he got early on because Takagi is significantly bigger than him. Finley shouldn't have been dropping Takagi like that. Again, it's just low in psychology to me. Finley sets up a table on the outside, but can't put Finley through, so he has to snap suplex on the floor. So the strikes by Shingo are insanely hard. Like they look like they're killing Finley throughout the match. Shingo tries to pile drive Finley on the apron, but Finley gets away, pulls him down, and this is where he hits a power bomb through the apron or through the
table.
The table, yeah.
Yeah, and Takagi was upside down for a hot minute after that too. Finley just kind of powerbombed and left him, and yeah, Finley was kind of like, I don't even know what pose that was. He was on his head, but his butt is in the air.
Yeah, and then when Shingo did get back in, Finley got a Blue Thunder Bomb for 2, then the sliding lariat to the back of the neck for 2. This is kind of where everything picks up for me. Takagi hits that gory special, disrupt the strikes of Finley, puts him up top, hits the headbutts, hits the superplex, and both men bounce on this one.
So good too, so good.
Finley reverses a suplex, hangs Shingo on the ropes, and puts Shingo up on the corner. And then uses him up on the corner to pull him through into the Dominator. I like that he realized he couldn't do it, and he had to get him up on the top rope to get him in position. I did like that. It's 2 out of that. Shingo reverses a move. I didn't write what it was. Into the ground Cobra for 2. The swinging backbreaker by Finley. I really like that.
So good. Yeah.
Shingo slides out the power bomb. Finley unloads with shots. They trade shots and headbutts, but Shingo hits Made in Japan for 2. I legit bid on that one. Headbutts and strikes are traded. Finley hits the spear, the power bomb, then another power bomb, but Shingo slips out of the trash panda to hit the sliding forearm. In the inside out lariat, hits Last of the Dragon, and Mr. Shingo Takagi stays alive. Shingo's alive. Shingo's alive.
Pinning the never openweight champion. Could this be the beginning of the resurgence of the Dragon going after elevating himself from the KOPW championship into the next level of championship, which I would say would be the never Never or United States Open Championship, so we're gonna go with the never.
Oh, we could get Osprey versus Takagi again. Oh, please give
You
me
know,
that.
it's enough time has passed. I think I wouldn't mind seeing
Last
that
time
again. But first, I would like to see him dethrone Finley.
well, no, just because we haven't seen it since Osprey was the world champion. So I'm down for that. I think we saw it in last year's G1, but
We
I'm
sure did, yeah.
but again, like other than that G1 match, you haven't seen them feud since
Hmm.
Osprey was world champion. I am so
Hmm.
down. I am so down to see those two feud over the U.S. title.
So anyway, Finley here. I felt the spot that you were talking about at the beginning that was a little slower. I actually feel that that was something for both of these guys. It was more subtle on Shingo. I think a little bit more obvious with Finley. Character development.
Hmm.
This was starting to show us the now, I don't want to say fully evolved David Finley, but the attitude, the arrogance that he came out with in this match felt different than everything before. He felt more, I don't want to say confident, but there was an air of I got this. I ain't afraid. I like it was unapologetic when he came out, and I liked it. Why are you shaking your head? Are you disagreeing?
So I found him more bland than he's ever been. And when he got up on
Really?
the rope and did his pose, all I could think of, oh, he's just a shittier version of Jay White. Like the jacket, the jacket, it's very Jay Whitish. The look, like all the look
I
he's
like
doing,
the
the slick,
jacket.
the slick back hair, all of it is just looks like a cheap version of Jay White.
Yeah, but you know who he doesn't look like a cheap version of anymore, with that stupid white thing in the front of his head.
Yeah, but again, I'm just saying, like he, I just,
I'm,
and
I'm,
I
I'm
find, I
I'm
think,
gonna have to disagree with you
I
on this. I
yeah,
felt that it was actually really good
I,
for him because we were seeing these subtle. For me, it was the facial expressions. You
oh,
had to focus a lot more on it. What the fuck are you laughing at? Shut up and let me say my thing,
oh, go ahead. That's
sir. I liked it. I thought it was character development for Finley that he actually desperately needed because at this point in time, he kind of just looked like the wild child running the wild children. He was the head frat boy running the frat house of frat boys. And now he kind in this match, he kind of came out for me feeling a little bit more like a leader, feeling more refined, feeling like he's finally found the stride that he wants to kind of hit and he's starting to walk with it. um, I'll admit it was slower and it was very subtle at the beginning, but I felt it was something that Finley needed to kind of show his superiority in Bullet Club, because right now, other than Gato just kind of coming out with him in this tournament, I haven't felt that there's been the Bullet Club camaraderie that we had been seeing leading up into this with Connors and Maloney still there. I feel like almost like despite being tag champions, Coughlin and Kidd and Finley here, the three remaining members have kind of almost been like not acknowledging each other in any sense of the word. It doesn't feel like a faction. It feels very LIJ-ish. I don't like that. But yeah, otherwise, I felt that Shingo worked really hard in this match for that win, hitting Finley, as you said, as hard as he fracking could. They were making this match look so heavy, so powerful, so impactful. Um, yeah, the end was a little weird for me. I wasn't expecting Shingo to pick up the win. I was expecting Finley to actually pick up the win here. I was actually very pleasantly surprised that Shingo won with
mm,
this one. Now, what do you want to say about Finley and disagreeing with me about his shit?
it's talking about shit. All I can think looking at that picture of Finley right now with that facial expression is, oh, I gotta take a shit.
Yeah, that's not the best picture of him. I'm not gonna lie.
And
Like
that's the look he had the entire time he came out on that entrance. All I could think of, what the
smirking.
no, it was this, and I'm like, or maybe it was this with a little grin, but it's like, I gotta take a poop. I'm gonna take a poop. That's all that I could think about when I looked at his goddamn ugly face.
Yeah, but that's what I do. The frick does that say about me?
I don't know, but I think it's almost worse now. I'm taking him less seriously than I ever have as leader, and I didn't take him seriously as leader before. And it's just lessening for me personally. Like I think he's only gotten this tournament has only hurt him in my eyes. He's just feel like he's fallen down the card, in my personal opinion.
Tomato, tomato. We're going to agree to disagree, and we'll see how it kind of goes going forward for Mr. Finley.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
see
know.
what happens when the rest of the War Dogs kind of reunite and they start working together again. We'll see what kind of leadership Finley kind of has over them, because it does kind of feel like the lunatic is kind of running the asylum right now.
I don't know. I feel like he's Jay White, Jay White light.
I think J-Wash was actually the more appropriate term for that. If he's a washed up version of Jay White, J-Wash kind of sounds like the right acronym.
But again, like I don't
agree to disagree.
I take him. It's weird. I'm taking him less seriously now than I did before this tournament started.
His look has gotten a shit ton better though as this evolution has continued.
No, it's gotten worse. The hair looking like terrible, all slicked back. The jacket that he makes him look like Jay White Light. No, he got.
Yeah, but it's better than the ginger that he was rocking beforehand, which made him look like a child.
Yes, but he's had dark hair since he took over Bullet Club, and even then, I was a little more impressed with him when he took over Bullet Club than now.
I don't know. I think his aesthetics look a lot better. His attitude needs work. I mean, he's obviously always been a follower as opposed to a leader, but that's what Gato's for. Bring us into the points, sir.
We're going to get to the points and we're going to get out of here. So, eliminated are Mikey Nick and C Block are eliminated are Mikey Nichols, Aaron Hanari, Tomohiro Ishii. And this is without draws and shit. I'm just going wins and losses only. For Shingo Takagi at 7, if he wants to get in the finals, he needs to beat Evil, who's at 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs Tama not to win, as they have a weird tie if they're both at 9 points. And it's the same thing for Tama. He needs to beat Hanare, but he needs Evil to lose or draw, and he needs Takagi to lose or draw, as it would be, again, a weird-ass 9-point tiebreaker where they have a draw between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Eddie Kingston is pretty much in a win and you're in, lose, and you don't know what the fuck happens. Because Eddie is facing Finley on the final night. So him and Finley are both in that point of, if we win, we're at 10 points. If we lose, we're still sitting at 8. And if we tie, we're at 9, and that just becomes a giant mess. Evil is at 8. He needs to beat Takagi to win. If he doesn't, if he loses to Takagi has 9, which officially eliminates Evil from getting in. So, yeah, there's all 5. The top 5 guys are in the running in some way or form. So we go over to the D block. You have eliminated. You have Toriano, Alex Coughlin, Shane Hayes, and while Goto at 6 points is not eliminated, at 6 points, Hiroshi Tanahashi is eliminated because even if he got to 8 points, he has the losses to Cobb and Sabre, so he would lose tiebreakers to both. So he cannot get into the quarterfinals. So Hiroshi Tanahashi is eliminated. Goto, as long as he beats Sabre, he can get into the finals because he has the tiebreaker win over Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
Sabre needs to beat Goto to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
Naito needs to beat Tana to stay in. Cobb needs to beat Goto to stay in because if he loses, he then has the tiebreaker. He loses his tiebreaker to Naito. And
Cobb is Haste, not Goto. He already lost to Goto.
Oh, sorry. Cobb needs to beat Haste. Sorry.
All good.
Yeah, sorry, he needs to beat Haste because if he loses, he has tiebreaker losses over to Naito. Mm-hmm. So and to Goto. So if Goto wins, he gets screwed over here. So again, all 4 guys are in strong contention going into the final night of Goto, Sabre, Naito, and Cobb. All have strong shots at getting into the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike A and B block where one person is already guaranteed over there, this is this is really interesting because you don't know either the first or second place person going in. You already know at least one person in each of the A and B block. You don't know that here, which is really interesting for both these blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing that I've been spelling Coughlin's name wrong.
How do you spell it?
I spell it with an A instead of an O.
Oh yeah, it's like Coughlin. Looks like it should be Coughlin, but it's Coughlin.
That's probably where my confusion is laying.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's
what an interesting show.
It was good, and I love the fact that we have some disagreeing points.
Yeah, very, very good. And on the opener and the main in particular, it's very interesting. But that's why we love wrestling, and that's why wrestling is very subjective, because what I like, you might not like, and that's okay, because we're both getting enjoyment out of it anyway.
Because we love professional wrestling, and that's what matters.
And we don't need to bitch about it online.
So we are going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below because we want to talk to you. I love talking to you guys when you comment down below. Big shout out to everybody commenting in the comments. And also, please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new show, like starting that's coming out tomorrow.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Yeah.
You can find myself, because I finally broke them up and made it so we all of our things. You can find me on Twitter, Mastodon, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Hive at That Canada Guy, Instagram at that, and Threads at That Canada Dude. You can find me right up here at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on Facebook. You can find me in our YouTube comments page at youtube.com/@Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me over on our local establishment this coming Saturday. I will be chatting SummerSlam, talking some WWE, which I never do, over on OLE with my boy OLED. You can find that on twitch.tv/our local establishment sometime on Saturday morning. It will be pre-recorded, and then the replay will be on youtube.com/@our local establishment. And don't forget to check out our boy Mike, because you might be watching us right now on Backbreaker Video. If you're not, go check out youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video for a lot of great wrestling content. And also, if you want to see Mike's live stuff and all his gaming stuff, check him out at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref for his Wednesday watch along, all his gaming streams, lots of great stuff over there. And if you want to see replays of his gaming streams, you can check it out at youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find Mike, you can find PJC, who has finally returned to the world of streaming. You can find Rick Jules, and you can find their frequent special guest, Kayla J. So check all that stuff out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Melball, where can they find you, madame?
If you are wanting to follow Melball, you can follow her on Twitter at Collins Melball. You can follow her on Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Facebook. I kind of had a buffering thing going on there at Melball Collins. You can find me on our local establishment, Paramindful Show, with the gold standard Carl Carafel and Alex the Werewolf. We are going to be releasing a video on Monday about aliens, since, they're apparently a thing now. Who knew? Apparently the government. You okay over there? You can also catch a Melball on Astra Pizarro's YouTube show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase, with the beautiful natural. Get your elbow up there, freaking microphone. We are going to be releasing a show on Friday where we are bringing you all the latest news and gossip on women's professional wrestling. And we've got a few, I would say, controversial topics we're going to probably be starting to talk about on Friday, so you don't want to miss out on that. I think that's all I'm doing right now. Andre, my friend, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to say thank you to you all. So thank you for tuning in. And we are going to get our butts out of here.
Yes, that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.